Let me leave that slide, leave it up. Put that slide up there again. I want everybody to take the song, the beautiful song that Kristen just offered to us, and spread your arms like that. You just were given an invitation to expect miracles. So many of us are going around like this. Oh, Christmas is here, I'm afraid, oh my gosh, dread. No, to live life wide open, completely to the vast miracle that is the life that you are living right now, the breath that you just took. Kristen, where'd you go? There you are. I know what it took for the miracle of this pregnancy to come about. I know the work, and so you are a living testimony to what is possible, you and your family, that you don't give up hope in the midst of the difficulty. I applaud you. And so when we live life wide open, amazing, miraculous things happen. Things like a teepee. Did you see our teepee? I am so excited. That was planted in mind over 1.5 years, 2 years ago, this playground that is coming to fruition. And I want to thank Lisa Vale for being a procurer of miracles. It's making it happen step by step by step by step. And it was probably it took longer than 9 months to give birth to the baby, so it was equally as difficult to push through to make that happen. And we as a community, believing in miracles, made that happen. Friday night, another miracle. We had 35 kids here in this room and said, "You're responsible for decorating the Christmas tree, go." I think it's a Christmas miracle. Doesn't it look beautiful? Our kids did that. Now, I have to admit, the Virgo in me is like, this one needs to be in the back. Let it be. Our kids created it, and it is a miracle that it looks as beautiful as it does, and I'm thankful for our families, for Santa, for the Grinch, and everybody who was here Friday night to decorate this place. And I want a special thanks to the miracle that is Yvonne James, who makes this look so beautiful here. The wreaths at the front door, the wreaths on the back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thanks to Chris, too, even though he's not here today. Tell him that I took attendance and I missed him today. So, example after example after example after example of miracles happen when we stay the course. When we find the strength and the power within us to believe in something, to have hope in something. I don't know about you, let's put the first slide up there. I am amazed in the springtime when I see little blades of grass, little weeds, and actually little flowers that somehow make it through the hard Georgia clay. You guys have got the hardest ground on the planet. Coming from California where I could dig easily in the dirt, it's tough to get through there. But not only do these seeds and these blades of grass make it through the hard Georgia clay, we put cement on them, sometimes inches upon inches of concrete, and somehow a flower manages to emerge, manages to come up. That takes a great deal of hope. It takes a great deal of vision, and I don't know if plants are hopers or visionaries, but I know that something miraculous happens. It is difficult, and there's an innate, an organic quest for life, for light, for goodness. This whole holiday is about the inner quest for light, for a greater and more beautiful and bountiful experience. There's a Jewish tradition. I thought it would be good to give a little bit of Jewish background since it is Hanukkah today. The Jewish proverb says that every blade of grass has an angel leaning over it saying, "Grow, grow, grow." I love that. And could it be that those angelic presences, by whatever name you want to call them, whether they're angels or just the energy of life itself, urging life, urging light, is the only ingredient necessary for a little blade of grass and a flower to come through all that concrete, for a baby to be born, a teepee to show up, or your life being more miraculous than it's ever been? I don't know. Maybe it's just the awareness. But my friend Christopher Reeve, now he didn't know me, but I knew him intimately. Christopher Reeve was one of my heroes. And in the midst of having lost the ability to move his body and to breathe on his own, this is what he had to say when it came to life and life expressed. Let's say it together. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Don't sell out. And I think sometimes on this earthly journey, don't we get tired? It gets tired and we start to get down low to the ground. And if Christopher Reeve can do it, if Kristen Hope Justice can do it, let's never lose hope that something wants to be born through us, as us, around us, as individuals and as a collective. I have hope in that. And so that inner childlike wisdom or innocence that comes out at this time of the year that gets excited about a teepee, the teepee is a great representation of what is possible for you Every one of you has a teepee living in your heart that wants to be born. And it may not look like that teepee, but it looks like a home. It looks like a life that is so magical and so full and so rich that we can taste it, and we can taste it together. I mentioned last week that we are multi-dimensional beings. We all know that. Multifaceted beings. There's so many. Sometimes I feel like I've got 40 personalities going on in my head. The reality is there's lots of parts to who we are, and every part is equally beautiful and wonderful. And sometimes the ego gets a bad rap. It's just a part of who you are. We learn to manage it with the other parts of ourselves in a great dance, a dance that says, I'm going to express fully and completely who I am. And as we enter the Advent season, it is a holiday that is multidimensional as well. There are 1,000 different ways how to experience Christmas, how to experience Hanukkah, how to experience Kwanzaa, how to experience Ramadan. There's 1,000 ways to experience all these great holidays. The winter solstice, do it the way you do it. And there are 1,000 different ways to express it as well. Christmas must be born within us, or it is entertainment. Christmas must be happening within us. And there's 1,000 different ways to express that. Find the one that works for you, and don't make apology for how it's showing up as you. Don't make apology for how the Christ is showing up as you. No excuses, just be you. So we're multidimensional beings, and this holiday is multidimensional, and I want to explore the first dimension of Christmas, and that is the idea of hope. And I think hope has gotten such a bad rap. We think, oh, hope is not active. I'm here to tell you today, hopefully, that hope is very active, depending on the level of vibration that you are operating at with hope. If you think hope is just about wishing, lighting a candle, and hoping that something magical is going to happen, yeah, it's not very active, and Christmas will not be born. The Christ, the light, will not be born within you. I want to go through the multi-layers of what hope is and can be. 4 of them. There's probably 1,000, but I want to go through 4. You know, the birth of the mystic that we celebrate at this time of year, and more appropriately, the mystical consciousness that was brought onto the planet, was the product of a lot of hopes, just like a baby, a teepee, a Christmas tree, or the vision of your heart. Generation upon generation, century upon century of people hoping for a better world. And I think we could gather a little bit of hope from the people who brought that kind of consciousness onto the planet, welcomed it and invited it, and to say, here we are again. Here we are again. We need to be so hopeful about the world being a better place tomorrow than it is right now that it cannot help but happen. So let's start our journey with hope. But the man himself brought hope to the planet. He had his own hopes. Jesus had his own hopes. He had the hope for a healed humanity that was free of the bonds of human limitation. That's what we do here. We are carrying the hopes of that mystic forward every time we come together and say, I'm not defined by what's going on out here. I'm defined by a greater reality, a greater truth, a greater magnificence, and a greater light. He had the hope of oneness of all people. The man crossed boundary after boundary after boundary. And the whole world said, don't go there. Those are the unclean people. Don't go there. Those are the undeserving people. And he says, sorry, I'm crossing the line because we belong to each other. A mystical awareness that said we are one. And I have a hope that the rest of you will follow my example. When we celebrate Christmas, yeah, it was a moment in time, whether it happened in December or in the spring, it doesn't really matter. But something shifted on the planet. A new consciousness was born and brought into the planet, one that said, I will challenge the authority, I will challenge the status quo, and I will no longer accept the duality that this system has played. So the prayers of generations was answered when said, no, we belong to each other. And it started with hope. He had the hope of kindness, of joy, of love, and compassion. I share that hope with him today. And I hope that you share it with me. You know, here's the truth that we teach at Unity. It's a basic concept of the Unity movement. Everything in this world is created twice. There are 2 stories of creation. You ever notice that? That's because it is first created in mind, and then it is created in reality. And so many of us are so enamored and taken with the manifestation, everything out here, absolutely physically centric. And we forgot, we put the cart before the horse there. Everything must be created in mind, in being, in energy, living within me before it can ever happen on the outside. So how long are you willing to pray? How long are you willing to hope? How long are you willing to hold the possibility of a healed world, a healed humanity, a healed government, a healed whatever? As long as it takes. Because it must be seen and felt and known within, or it will never happen here. You see, hope is not passive. Picture the seed underneath that cement. The seed in that hard Georgia clay. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen like, oh, I thought about being a flower, now I am a flower. That's wishful thinking, and hope is far more than wishing. So I want to explore the multidimensional energy, mental, emotional, and spiritual energy that requires our action, that requires our movement. Hope in action. Hope in movement. Hope that is not stagnant, but hope that is moving and stirring. Each one of these levels, let's put the 4 up there right now, goes to a deeper place, goes to a deeper and a higher vibration of what hope can be. And it starts with anticipation. Yeah, this is very close to wishing. I'm anticipating that something's going to change. I'm anticipating that something's going to break loose and that somebody's going to show up and make a difference. And there's nothing wrong with this. This is the foray into Bethlehem. You know, Bethlehem, you know what it means? The actual word Bethlehem means the place of bread, the place of substance. It is the source. It is the place of nourishment. And so anticipation just turns our cheek the other direction and says, something great's going to happen. I don't know what it is. So here in the anticipation place, hope is non-specific, non-concrete. There isn't a clear vision of where we are going. There's just the desire, the longing for something to shift and something to change. How many of you have a longing today? And for this holiday season, is there a longing in your heart for a better reality? A better human and spiritual reality for you, for us gathered here, and for the world. Yes? Well, it needs to get more concrete. If anything's going to change and anything's going to shift, we need to go to the next level. But we start our journey to Bethlehem, to the birthing of our Christ nature, of the light of the world that we are, by simply turning our attention and say, I'm longing for something different. I'm longing for something greater. And I will turn my attention to the source. The place of substance. The place of substance, that which is standing underneath all creation, is what is real. Now, this is a very ethereal realm. There's nothing manifesting at this point other than an energetic shift in my own mind and my own heart that says there's something beyond that. Let me begin my journey to Bethlehem, that something can at least be given birth in my mind. It is the realm of possibility. Bethlehem represents the source and the realm of possibility. Hope as anticipation is simply regarding that a better life is possible. And most people hang out there. They go into their comfy little caves and they hold a sacred mantra. They sing Christmas carols and go, why isn't the world changing? I know it's possible because they don't go to the next level. You see, the seed that's underneath the hard Georgia clay and underneath the cement has the idea, but there must be an action. Here at Anticipation, there's no action. Nobody's doing anything. So we have to go to a deeper place, a higher vibration, and that is the second level, expectation. And what happens with expectation is the field and the vision begins to narrow. We begin to use the faculties of our imagination, and we begin to partner with the faculty of faith. Charles Fillmore talks about 12 powers that must be in synergy for the Christ to be born. There are 12 energy centers within our being. Call them chakras, call them 12 powers. I don't care what you call them. There are energies that exist within you. And expectation is the opportunity for hope to begin to access them. And to know that my faith is pretty crucial. But I'm just partnering with faith at this point. My imagination, what is possible? Let my mind and my world go crazy with the possibilities of what is there. And so what's happening, hope is moving from the realm of possibility and becoming a probability. I begin to feel empowered. There's a partnership that's beginning to emerge. I'm expecting a certain change. This is where I'm directing the energy of God to this place. And there's going to be change there. I'm expecting it. I'm not necessarily waiting around for somebody else to do it. I'm actively involved in expecting that and being a part. So I have to get my feet busy. I have to, as we said in the first service, one of my favorite songs at this time of year, I think it's the musical or the little kids show, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I have to know when it's coming on because I find that song. It's when the evil wizard is transformed. And he sings that very important step in the unity tradition, putting one foot in front of the other. Put one foot in front. I need some claps and snaps. If you know the song, sing it with me. Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across the floor. That's my inner Atiba. Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door. I stand at the door and knock. That's what Scripture tells us. The Christ essence is knocking at the door. And so many, the door's over there and we're doing this. I'm anticipating that the Christ is going to show up at my house. I wonder if he's going to call ahead. I wonder if that light's going to be born. Expectation says, let me cross the room of consciousness. Let me cross the room of my life and turn the handle and open it up and say, come on in. Expectation, hope as expectation is turning the handle. I am expecting the company. I'm not waiting for the call. I'm not waiting for an invitation to happen. The invitation was already made at anticipation. Now I'm expecting it. So I begin to act as if, a term that we use all the time in unity. Act as if, and it also gets a bum rap, just like wishing gets a bum rap. Act as if. It hasn't manifested out here. Let me tell you, the energy of hope does not manifest anything out here. Nothing. But everything is created twice. We're in the first story of creation. So I'm expecting the Christ because the Christ is already starting to awaken within my consciousness and my heart. So I begin to act my life. I need to speak and to take actions that absolutely demonstrate that I know the good is on its way, and it looks just like this. Specificity is really, really important. I have a clarity and a knowing that that dream is no longer just a foggy and vague desire, but a clear and likely happening. This holiday, I want you to at least get to the second level of hope. A clear and likely happening. The dream you're holding is not there by accident. Expect it. The Christ will be born in, through, around, and as you. Hope has left the realm of wishing and longing and entered the realm of my belief system. And the sprout of the flower begins to push through the hard Georgia clay. And it hits that cement and things get really tough. We got to up our game. Most people quit the dream and the vision when they hit the cement. Oh my gosh, they put 3 inches of pavement over me. How in the world can I bloom now? How many of you have quit a dream when you hit 3 inches of pavement? My life is an example. I thank God that I am so stubborn. Because I don't give up easily. Hope at a deeper place then transcends expectation, is far more powerful than anticipation. I move to the place of intention, where by grace I begin to realize that by grace I have been endowed with all the abilities that Jesus had. He just was awake to them and he used them and implemented them. But I was endowed with all the abilities to create my life by the presence and the power of God that is expressing at the point of me. I want you to breathe that in. You have been playing small. And the time this holiday season, this Advent, is to take hope to the next level and quit playing small. And to know that you are the very center of the universe for creativity in your life. You are the director, the producer, and the magnificent expression of life. And you must intend it. You see, we're no longer waiting in this level of hope. We're no longer waiting for a Messiah to show up and to make the world a better place. We're no longer waiting for somebody to show up and to heal the world. We are intending to live, to breathe, and to have our being as the light itself. I'm not putting the responsibility on anybody else to get me through the cement. I am taking responsibility for my own life. And so by doing so, the life that I desire is no longer a possibility. It's no longer a probability. It is now an inevitability. That's my stuttering comes out with that word. Inevitability. It's going to happen. Boy, does it get grounded within you. So many of us wonder why things don't happen. It's because we're staying, well, it's probably going to happen. It possibly can happen, and no, it will happen. And then we have to run the embarrassment to have a faith so deep. What's happening is hope is playing with faith right now, and there's a great dance going on. And people are going to tell you you're crazy. You shall not be swayed from the determined effort to bloom on the other side of that pavement. And you find strength and power in that. Collectively and individually, you find a strength and a power to begin to push through that cement. I can taste, I can hear, I can feel the bloom of that flower in every cell of my being. I am the birther of a reality. I am the vision manifest, the dream, and no longer just a recipient of somebody else's idea. And I want you to breathe that one in. I am the creator of the Christ light, of Christmas, of the goodness, and not just a beneficiary. We're walking through this planet thinking we're beneficiaries of somebody else's work. No, we are the offspring of our own work. We are the offspring of our own diligent hope, vibrating at such a place that it begins to drill through, find the crack to find the light. That crack is there, and you will find it, but you must remain intentional about finding it. There's a great power that is far more potent than even anticipation, expectation, and intention. We go to the final place. We're a place where hope is no longer partnering with faith, but hope becomes faith. It is the place of realization. Say that with me. Realization. Say it like you mean it. One more time. Now, I want to be really clear. This is nothing manifest out here yet. Nothing's changed. The people haven't changed. The behavior hasn't changed. But it is a realization that is inward. Everything is created twice, first in mind. And it is so much, not just tasting it, I am it. This is the place of the finished prayer. You ever notice how people pray sometimes? Dear God, make this world a better place. Make it a kinder place. Make my wife behave more. And then we say, amen. And then we go into the litany of complaints. Why are you not showing up the way you're supposed to? Nothing's working. I'm broke. I don't have any money. Let me go to my prayer. God, I pray for an abundant universe. I pray for the magnificence of abundance, and it is done. Thank you, God. Oh, God, when is the money going to show up? You know, we cancel the prayer. We crush the flower. It's peeking its head beyond the cement, and we go, not really. I didn't really mean it. Psych. And we crush that flower. When you're at the level of realization, of realizing within you that the dream was not an accident, that the dream is already manifested in the mind of God, and this is an important step. This is hope at the highest vibration. It's done. It is complete. It's no longer a possibility. The world that you seek and that you see is no longer a probability. It is no longer even an inevitability. It's a done deal. The work is done. And so when you hold the prayer and those words pour from your soul, quit counteracting them, but just go, it's done. Let it be. And then take the steps to walk across the room anytime you get a chance and open the door to the Christ, because you will find it. But you must have the eyes, the ears, the mind, the heart, and the soul to see that which is already manifested. And if you have manifested it in your own soul, it's going to show up. But we put the cart before the horse. No, it needs to show up first. Then I will believe it. I'm sorry, that's not what Christmas is about. Centuries and generations of people held the possibility of the Christ for a very long time. The flower will bloom because you are already living in the energy and as the manifestation of the Christ that you are. The work is done. We're not waiting around for December 24th, December 25th. We're not waiting around for somebody in our life to physically or mentally or emotionally or spiritually validate your dream. The dream is complete. Is that possible for you? It's what Unity teaches. You live it at such a high level that nothing on the outside has any control over you. You're already prosperous. You're already healed. And then you find the thoughts that sneak in. Oh, yeah, but you're still feeling sick. Nope. Cancel, set it aside. I'm having an experience of the world, but I'm already done. In the mind of God, I am whole. In the mind of God, I am perfect, whole, and complete, and nothing can deter me from that. Then the flower begins to bloom. This is when hope becomes faith, and it is the foundation of the house that we're going to build for Advent. You want to get into manifestation? Come back next week. We'll talk about how that hope will manifest as peace, as joy, and as love. But that's later on. 2 creation stories. Hope as realization must come first. Faith. I'm going to leave you with a quote before we get into our meditation today. I bet you're surprised. I bet you had hope that I wasn't going to give another 35-minute sermon. I owe you probably a couple hours after the last 3 months. This is what Tagore had to say. Please put the quote up there. I want you to read this together and to let this be an affirmation of your life. Together, faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark. Counter to the human mind. The song is there. It's not out here yet. It's still dark. The sun is coming. But rather than attach my well-being to the sun being up, I will sing the song even when it is still dark. My life, and I know many of you sitting here today, are a living testimony to the song that was sung when it looked like all hope was gone. When it looked like there was no way out of the hole that you were in, you sang the song. I don't take that song lightly. I've lived it, I've breathed it, and I was called nuts, and I was called crazy, and sometimes I had to sing the song for weeks and months and years. Generation upon generation, prayer upon prayer, the new consciousness must come, is coming. Oh, wait, I am it. The Christ has arrived. Let's take this into a time of reflection, a time of peace, a time of stillness. And what the song we're going to sing is the one I would ask you to sing. It's not a Christmas carol, but it should be. The words, I am divine. Where's the band? Uh-oh. You know, they're used to me doing a 35-minute talk.
It was Kristen's husband talking to them.
Should I let Tim play? I want you all to tell the band that they missed the very best talk of the entire year. I want you to take these words, I am divine, God lives in me as me, not just the great exception, but the great example of what is possible for me. Hold your prayer, and at the end of this meditation, let it all go. Let it all go, and then watch your language that you don't crush the flower that is about to bloom right now. Take a deep breath.